literally 1 out of 5 people have an eating disorder.
Exactly.
So it's a really common thing. And so like I've talked pretty openly about my own eating disorder history, and I would restrict calories. It kind of started off as like a healthy thing. I had healthy intent. This started when I was 14. So like I had gone to the doctors and they told me I was overweight and I needed to change the way that I was eating because my cholesterol was high. I was pre-diabetic, and the doctor literally said to me, she was like, well, your dad died of a heart attack, so you better get your cholesterol under control. And like
You did not
that,
say that to you.
I swear to you. Yeah. I think I experienced some really intense, weight bias healthcare at that time. And it really scared the shit out of me. Hello and welcome to the Eat to Grow podcast. This is your host, Kelly Igo, and co-host.
This is Caitlin LaCambria, also known as Kate.
Yes, Kate. And this used to be Barbell's Bikini and No BS podcast. And it was fun while it lasted. But as I've evolved as a professional, as a dietitian, I didn't feel real alignment with that podcast anymore and what the messaging was. And I am so freaking excited to bring to you guys a new rebranded podcast where we're going to be diving into all things in terms of intuitive eating, mental health, relationship with food, creating a healthy relationship with exercise, and also just like all things girly. So really want to take today to just kind of get you guys to know who Kate is, because Kate is freaking amazing. So Kate is one of my best friends, also like my soon-to-be sister-in-law, eventually once one of them puts a ring on it for either of us. So she dates John's brother, and John's brother's name's Ty. We can introduce him. And they've been dating for, how long have you guys been dating, Kate?
It's going on 7 years.
7 years.
Oh,
so
time.
Yeah, crazy. So like, as many people know, I've been in a relationship with John for about 12 and a half, 13 years. I'm honestly like starting to lose count. So we've been dating for a really long time. So like Kate and I, we get to go on family vacations together. We spend holidays together. So we've been able to get really close over the past couple of years. And Kate has a really cool background. So very similar to me, actually. We went to the same college, Merrimack College. And I just want to like give Kate some space to introduce herself. So Kate, tell the listeners who you are. Who is Kate LaCambria?
Kate LaCambria is a 24-year-old girl. I graduated from Merrimack, obviously, as you said, with nutrition. And at first I started with health sciences. I don't know if you knew that.
I feel like we might have talked about that before.
Yeah. I started with health sciences and I took my first intro to nutrition. I'm like, oh, this is it. This is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I roll with it. I ran with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is how I want to live my life. I just really fell in love with it. I ended up not going to pursue anything after it just because my background, never a school person. We can get into that later, but I just really wasn't a school person. And although I loved it and I loved learning, I'm ready to start learning outside of the classroom. I'm ready to start getting that experience with people and all these things. So I'm really excited.
Yeah. I'm very excited for you. Yes, I'm so freaking excited. So yeah, Kate has a really freaking cool background in nutritional sciences, and she's getting into the online coaching space. More to come on that in the future. And she is just one of the most passionate, intelligent, kind individuals you will ever come across. And so I'm really excited for you guys to get to know Kate and have her expertise in this space and to have her, part of this podcast and so much more. So really freaking excited to have you here, Kate. Thank you. So to kind of dive in, let's talk a little bit about what your education experience was. Like, what did you like about nutritional sciences that made you transition out of health sciences to nutrition?
Yeah, when I first took that class, it was so just the beginning, like obviously entry level classes. And it was just basic information. I'm like, oh, I found myself wanting to learn more. Other classes, I didn't find myself wanting to know more about the subject and all these things. And in that class, I was going up to the teacher and asking her, like, what about this? Like asking questions.
Sure.
And she started telling me, I was like, that's so interesting. Then I was finding myself doing my homework and then doing extra.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that. That's so funny. Was there like a specific, was it intro to nutrition that made you like fall in love with it, or was it a different nutrition class?
That one definitely got me. That's when I transitioned. I was like, this is more aligned with what I want to do. And then when I took advanced human nutrition.
Okay.
That was it.
I freaking love that class. So for those listening, so Kate went through nutrition, like she got a nutrition degree, but she didn't go the RD route because, as many people know, if you've listened to any of my former podcasts, it's a brutal process. And like, unless you absolutely need it, I don't recommend doing it because you can still be a great nutrition coach and in the space without the RD. So Kate, tell me more about why you decided to not pursue the RD route and what you're looking to do with your nutrition degree right now.
So one of the best professors I've ever had, her name was Liz. Yeah. She said, hey, it's okay not to do the full thing. You don't got to do the full thing. You can get jobs with this degree. Don't feel like I'm holding you back or I'm telling you not to do it. You can absolutely do it. But she was like, if it's not the right place for you, it's not the right place for you. And I knew in that moment that I was like, didn't want to work in hospitals. And I thought like RDs work in hospitals and all these things. And I've always afraid of a hospital. I worked in the hospital for a small stint for 4 months. Didn't like it. I tried it out though. I really tried.
Yeah, no, you did.
She really helped me like understand that it's okay not to do that. You still have a degree. It's not like you're not educated.
Absolutely. And so right now, as you're entering the online coaching space, how do you feel in terms of your level of confidence? And what would you tell somebody that's also interested in pursuing nutrition? Maybe they don't want to go the RD route. What kind of advice would you give them there?
I would say the beginning, when you're right out of college, it's scary.
Yeah, absolutely.
The nutrition field is so hard to get a job. The job field, it's very limited. And most of them are hospitals. So 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to have to start at a hospital just to get that experience out of the way. See if you like it. If you do, fantastic. Great. I'm so happy for you. I didn't, but I always try it. And just be more confident in yourself. Yeah. Because when I had my internship, when I was doing the whole nutrition program.
Yeah, tell them the fact that you started an entire nutrition program at your internship. Yeah. So you ran the whole thing.
So we in college, me and Kelly both had to do internships for like credits. Like we had to do it to graduate, which is great. I'm so happy I did that.
Yes, me too.
My year that I did it, there was the first year that this gym was doing it, that was like taking on Merrimack College kids. And I applied and I had an interview with him. It was super cool, super chill. And I got in and it was a strength and conditioning facility. It had nothing to do with nutrition. And he was like, I want to bring someone on to help me get it started. So when I was on, he basically threw me to the wolves. He says, all right, figure it out. And I sure did figure it out.
She sure did.
I had at least 15 clients that I was going through and checking in and making suggestions, making meal plans, all these things. And it was hard work. It was hard, especially when I had a waitressing job at night. I was doing that in the afternoon. I was doing classes in the morning. I always took 8 a.m. classes, so I had time to do everything else. And it was definitely hard, and you're going to feel like you can't do it. You're absolutely feel like you can't do it. But I can tell you that your life doesn't end there. It's not the end of the world if you feel like that. Because you're going to have clients who text you and say, I'm so happy that you did this for me because I feel so good. And that changes the entire perspective. It changes everything.
It does.
So great.
It's literally the best feeling in the entire world. And I feel like I can guess like why you're pursuing nutrition now and online coaching, but what would you say is your favorite part about nutrition that you are kind of pursuing right now in terms of helping people? Is there a certain clientele you want to work with? Tell me more about that.
I definitely want to help people just feel like themselves. I'm not looking to make you into this skinny mini little thing.
Yeah.
I want you to be happy with yourself, and I want you to feel good, and I want you to say, "Oh my God, Kate, I'm waking up at a normal time and I'm going to bed at a normal time." And I feel like relaxed and not tired. And it's just so great to have people feel like that and know that you had a part in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's really just life-changing.
It's the most rewarding thing. And I feel like nutrition is one of those fields, maybe alongside like exercise science, like for PTs. And honestly, most healthcare professions, I feel like the reason you can pursue it through those hard days where you're like doing an internship and you're doing these classes, you have all this homework, is like the impact that you're making on other people. And that's what kind of keeps you going. And I felt like that throughout this entire like MSDI process. Like having a clientele during that time was honestly one of the best things to ever happen to me. Yes, it was really fucking stressful, like on a daily basis, like managing all of that. But like those messages, like you said, like you changed my life, you're making me feel so much better in myself. Like that's what kept me going. Like that's my everyday constant reminder of like why I'm in this like suffering stage of life and like basically depressed and super fucking anxious. So like I love that you totally are in alignment with that as well. And like that's kind of why you're continuing to pursue things in the route that you are now. I think that it's so exciting for me to see you stepping into the online coaching space because I feel like it's been a long time coming. And to your point about building up confidence, like go into this field with confidence. I feel like so many people in nutrition have this imposter syndrome and you undervalue yourself. You don't realize that your time is valuable. And it's like, as we've been discussing, like, you know, one-on-one, like texting and things, like just like wanting you to see that confidence in yourself. And I love you, like seeing you step into that. It's really freaking cool.
Yeah. It's like all these clients that I've ever had. It's just the motivation. It's like, all right, we're going to do this. I know I can do this. You're telling me I can do this. Okay, thanks. It's like accountability.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're telling me, I know you can do this. And I'm like, oh, wait, okay, you can do this too. Like you can follow it. If you need motivation, I'm here. If I need motivation, you're giving it to me. So,
right. It's awesome. It's like a very, what is the word I'm looking for? Like you're both benefiting. I'll think of the word,
it's a win-win situation.
It's a win-win situation. Yeah, absolutely. I freaking love that. So Kate, I want to hear more about what your lifestyle looks like in terms of what your nutrition approach is for yourself, because I know a lot of the listeners know my background in bodybuilding and I was spending a lot of my time tracking macros. And as of recently, I've made the full transition into intuitive eating again. I've gone through a couple of stints of that, and I'm pretty certain I'll be following this approach for the rest of my life from here on out. So that's kind of where I'm at with my own nutrition goals and journey there. But I want to hear more about you and your nutrition philosophy so our listeners can kind of get your viewpoint.
Yeah. So there's been times, it's almost the complete opposite of yours. Yeah. It's like I try to track it, but I'm so like scrambled in the brain that I will eat and just be like, okay, like that's it. Yeah. Not thinking I like have a responsibility to go track it. I've never been like that.
Yeah.
Mostly because with all of like how I was feeling and just all of my, I don't know, just like my body, like how I was feeling. I'm like, oh, maybe I should try this. Like I heard this is good. And then I would drink it or I would eat it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, that makes sense. This is why it's like, this is why people are telling me to do this.
Right.
So I've definitely like, I know you transitioned to the intuitive eating, but I almost like just started and just kept going intuitive eating, which was really, really awesome. And I'm so glad that you also transitioned to it. So now I can like be on the same
life
about it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so I feel like one thing that could also be really cool for us to talk about. So like, as you guys are listening right now, like there's differences, there's a lot of similarities between Kate and I, but Kate didn't track macros. I've tracked macros in the past for a long time. She stepped right into intuitive eating and she loves it. And in terms of like her relationship with exercise and what her interests for exercise, they look a little different than mine. So like, Kate, tell people what you love to do in terms of movement for your body and kind of what your philosophy is there.
Well, if you check out my Instagram, I did just post a picture at Rumble. Rumble's just like this boxing facility. It's like half boxing, half core, or half boxing, half like arm movements, leg movements, all these things. And it is one of the most like releasing things you could ever do. It is so amazing just to like hit shit and be okay.
Yes,
like,
yes.
You hit it and you're like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, I like that. I like to hit things.
Yes. And tell them what Ty said the other day. So like Ty got a punching bag for like the garage or whatever at his house. And for those that don't know, like Ty, like big football guy, he was like almost in the NFL, XFL. So like his whole life's been football. And Kate, like she's this cute little thing. And so she loves doing Rumble, she just said. And you went into the basement with that new punching bag. And what did Ty say?
So we're putting up this punching bag and I immediately put the gloves on because they're just like next to his like his rig and stuff. So I picked them up and I just start hitting 1-2s. I'm going crazy. I'm going.
She's going.
All of a sudden he looks at me and says, "Oh, you're kind of good."
So pleasantly surprised. I love it.
And I was like, wow, thanks. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
I know that was kind of a little bit sarcastic, but thank you. I took it as a compliment.
So freaking funny. So another thing that people probably don't know, like way back, I don't know, it was like maybe 2016, 2017, maybe even 2018. There was like a little stint where like I coached Kate for like a little bit. Like she did like my style of training for a little. We tried the whole macro thing. And like we did like a whole training session. That was like the beginning of like our friendship, I would say. Like we were like starting to become friends, like within like this whole like sister-in-law dynamic. Because she was in high school and I was like a little bit more in college at that time. So that was like super funny to go through that.
You were just joining Team Haley too. I remember you.
Yeah.
I was like,
that was.
He said that he was hiring you as a coach. And I'm like, oh, Kelly, I'm so excited for you.
Yes. And they're like, everybody's like, what is Team Haley? Like, what is that? And now we're like together, more fit, a whole new rebrand, which is just so crazy.
Love it.
So freaking crazy. And to have you a part of it is amazing. So I'm very excited.
So full circle.
It does. Like, it really does. Like, it's like, oh yeah, like, remember this whole like TM thing? And like, here we are like 5 years later and like, here you are, you're joining it. So it's really cool. I love it. So Kate, I want to ask you something, as long as you feel comfortable, like sharing this, like with the listeners. I want you to tell the listeners the hardest thing that you've ever been through. And I'll also share mine. And I want us to get vulnerable here. What is the hardest thing that you've ever been through?
Yeah,
that you've overcome?
I'd say my eating disorder, which is hard to talk about because we did obviously talk about this yesterday. Like we went over it, but
yeah. For those that don't know, Kate was on an interview yesterday with Justin, Danielle, and I at TM. Yeah. So we've gone over this question, but we want to share that with you guys too.
So I was 15 or 16, and obviously, as a person does, notices their body's changing.
Mm-hmm.
And I look in the mirror and I'm like, I don't like the way I look. I want to be the way I looked when I was 13. Like, that's reasonable.
Dude, it's not to like cut you off, but like, how fucked up is that? Like, all girls, I feel that way. Like, when they see their body changing in puberty, they're like, oh my God, like, I don't want this happening. And like, they try to like control that. And it's like, it's just like a natural part of life. Like, we need to like educate women on that at a young age, like girls at a young age about that.
Absolutely. But so I see my body changing and I'm like, oh, and I don't know if I knew what bulimia was, if I saw it on a show. Like, this is the time where like I was binge watching Degrassi for some reason, and they always brought up like certain topics like bulimia and like suicidal, like things like that.
Sure.
That must have been in like the back of my head, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should try that, even though it was like shown in a negative light. I don't know why I thought I should do that.
Yeah, no.
And so I started doing it, and I was like eating normally, completely normal. Like, I didn't eat really a lot in high school. Like, I would just eat my lunch and I would have a snack, and like I barely ate breakfast and I would have dinner. But at the end of the day, I'd immediately go to the bathroom, like put on the shower and start puking.
Yeah.
And I did that for a long time. A long, long time. And it ended up making me, I did it for so long that my body turned it into me thinking like, oh, I physically don't feel good. Like this is just gonna come out without me even having to try. Like I have food poisoning, or something's wrong.
Right.
So there's one instance that I can just say the light bulb went off. Was so funny. When I said this yesterday, I started laughing.
I like laughed too, and I was like, I shouldn't have laughed, but I laughed because you're just funny when you were explaining it.
I was drinking a Shamrock Shake. I don't even like Shamrock Shakes. I don't know.
Shamrock Shakes suck, dude.
They're not good.
They suck.
It's like a mint shake. Why do I want that?
No, it's like, ew, the worst like mint ice cream I've ever had is that. No, but
so,
I hear that. I
chugged it, and I was at my friend's house, and I immediately ran to the bathroom because I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be sick. And it wasn't coming out, so I was pulling trig. And all of a sudden, my friend just comes into the bathroom, just very unannounced, just comes in. And she just looks at me, and the feeling I had was like when you're on a roller coaster and your heart, like everything just drops in your body.
Yeah.
It's like my heart sank. It just sank. I kept this secret for so long, and someone just like saw me in the act.
Yeah.
And it was just, I didn't know what to do. So at that point I was like, you know what? I can't keep doing this. Like, this isn't right. So after that, it was such a long journey. It was so hard. And like, I don't tell a lot of people that. I don't tell like the full extent of everything.
Right.
But, like, me trying to recover for that took a lot. Like, I stopped drinking as much. I was drinking so much in high school for some reason.
Yeah.
And I stopped doing that. And then I finally decided, like, okay, maybe I should go to college. Like, at this time, I was not wanting to do anything.
Right.
It was just, and this is when I started my anxiety meds and my depression, like all this.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, how was your mental health at that time? I'm assuming I can guess like where it was at, but
not good. I'll tell you.
Not good.
Yeah. And it definitely took a while, but I got through it. And every time, like, you know me, like when I start drinking, I'm like, oh, I have to just do it. I have to do it because I feel like it's just going to make me feel better. It's just going to make me feel better. And you're saying, no, Kate, don't. And I'm so happy that I have you to tell me that when I'm in that state, because I can't tell myself that. And like, it happens when I'm normal, even when I'm not drinking, like it'll happen. And I have that mental strength to tell myself, you're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You don't have to puke right now. You don't have to do it.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you feel was most helpful for you in your recovery from your eating disorder? Was there a certain thing that you kind of held on to as like a motivator? What was that allowed for you to basically recover on your own? Because that's a really hard thing to do.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, to say that I recovered from an eating disorder by myself is just insane.
Yeah.
But I started eating like smaller meals almost. It was almost like a binge eating sort of thing too.
Okay. Yeah. It's usually multiple different things, usually. Yeah.
You know, like I was trying to show people that I was eating. Like, see, I'm eating.
Yeah.
And just kind of do it out of spite of people. So I was doing that. I started eating smaller meals. I started eating healthier than I was. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, this is working. This is working.
Right.
And that definitely helped a lot, I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And do you feel like your eating disorder history played a part in you maybe wanting to pursue nutrition in college?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
once I started learning more about it, it was just clicking. Everything was clicking. everything that I experienced, I was learning how it actually works, and just like all those things.
Did you feel like pursuing nutrition empowered you to kind of stay in recovery? Because I think a lot of people, they oftentimes assume like once somebody's recovered, it's like really easy to be recovered. And that's actually not the case. It's actually really hard. It's almost like it can be a daily battle for a very long time to stay recovered, an hourly battle to stay recovered for a long time. So do you feel like your education helped to empower part of that recovery process for you?
Absolutely. Knowing what was happening inside my body and knowing like what's going on in the background definitely helped. I'm like, if I feel like this, then I know what's going on in the body. And it doesn't mean like, oh, I have food poisoning automatically in my mind. Like that's, you don't just get food poisoning all the time. You're not eating like spoiled food every single day.
Hopefully not. Yeah. Hopefully
let's hope not. But
yeah.
No, I definitely think that really helps me because I know what's happening. I'm not in the dark. I'm like educated on the things.
Right. Absolutely. If you had to give somebody advice that's struggling with something similar to what you've worked through, what would you tell them?
I would say keep going because it's going to get better. It's going to get better. I know, you will soon know it will get better. If I can do it, you can do it. I promise you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate you sharing that. I know that's really hard to talk about. And I know that a lot of listeners are definitely people who've had a history of eating disorders and disordered eating just due to the fact of how prevalent it is, within our country. Literally 1 out of like 5 people have an eating disorder. So it's a really common thing. And so like, I've talked pretty openly about my own eating disorder history and kind of how that propelled into my career and why I want to pursue, eating disorder work. But I personally struggled with more of like an anorexia and binge eating experience. So I would restrict calories. It kind of started off as like a healthy thing. I had healthy intent. This started when I was 14. So like I had gone to the doctors and they told me I was overweight and I needed to change the way that I was eating because my cholesterol was high. I was pre-diabetic. And the doctor literally said to me, she was like, well, your dad died of a heart attack, so you better get your cholesterol under control. And like,
you did not say that.
I swear to you. Yeah. I think I experienced some really intense, weight bias healthcare at that time. And it like, I don't even think that would fly now. My mom immediately removed me from that pediatrician after this, but
a pediatrician telling you that, like, are you kidding?
Like to my face, like not to my mom, like literally to my face. And I remember that like really resonating with me, and it really scared the shit out of me because ever since my dad died, I was always like, oh, I don't want to have a heart attack. Like that was like my big fear.
That's like installed in your brain. Like if you see that, that's like, I have to do everything in my power to not have that happen.
Absolutely. So I was like, okay, I go, Mom, like, what do I got to do? Like, I was like, ready. I'm like 14, like, don't even know what the hell I'm doing. And I'm like, I need to go to the gym. I need to eat whatever. So I ended up getting a membership at Planet Fitness that same day. I started going there doing cardio. Carrie would come with me. A couple of my friends, like Jess, would come with me. We'd go there after school, and it was fun. It started out as a really healthy thing. And I then saw a dietitian. I didn't know it was a dietitian at the time. I called it a nutritionist, but it was a dietitian, outpatient. And I remember I walked into her office and she was like, I'm really surprised to see you here. And at the time, like my doctor just told me I was overweight. I was getting teased terribly at school before I even had this doctor's appointment. So that was like the cherry on top for me because I was already receiving a lot of teasing about my body. And I had like hit puberty before everybody else. So I was just like in a woman's body at like 14 and everybody else was like still catching up to that point.
Hard. Yeah. They're like, why does it look like that?
And it's like, it was just, I just didn't fit, my body type didn't fit anymore. And so I was getting criticized because of that. And I remember like hearing the dietitian say that. I was like, oh, she's like the one person that doesn't think that like I need to change my body. And that was like so nice to hear. And she was so kind to me. And I remember feeling like leaving that appointment, I was like, I want to like do that for people. Like, that's so cool. I was like, I don't know if I could ever be a nutritionist because at the time I didn't know anything about nutrition, but I was like, that's super cool. So like started out healthy, and then I continued to try to lose weight, and I would continue to cut my own calories down because I researched a ton about nutrition. I started started liking like what I was researching. I'm like, this is pretty cool. And I learned how to really manipulate my body. Long story short, by fall time, freshman year of high school, I was like at the lowest weight I'd ever been. And I was going for my next physical. And the previous physical, I was overweight. This one, I was underweight. And she's like, well, you have to gain weight back. And then my mom was trying to tell her, she's like, she's not really eating very much. And I was so pissed at my mom. I was like, why would you say that? And I was like so proud of my weight loss. I was like, she's going to be so pleased with me because I lost the weight. And then she was like, if you don't start eating, you're going to get it checked into a residential treatment for eating disorders. And I was like, literally, like, I'm not kidding. This is not made up. And so it went from like one extreme to the next. And so after that visit, I was like, okay, well, clearly, like, I probably need to do something. My mom was like, I'm going to sign you up with a personal trainer, because that was the only thing I was open to, because I did not want to gain weight, like, especially when you've been trying to lose weight for as long as you have. And I was definitely at an eating disorder point at the time.
Yeah.
And I signed up with a personal trainer, which she wasn't handling my nutrition, but she did say, like, I need you to eat at least this many calories and I won't train you if you don't. And so I listened to her. And so I did. And she's taught me how to
You needed that person to tell you, you need to do this.
I was like, it needed to be
trained, you need to do it.
Right. Like, it couldn't be my mom to tell me. It couldn't be the stupid doctor that I was pissed off with. Like, I needed somebody else to tell me that, like, that I saw as like a leader in my life. And I swear to God, like, that personal trainer, like, saved myself from myself, because she showed me strength training. And I was like, this is super cool. I don't need to care about how much I weigh. Like, I can just feel strong and like fuel my body. And like, things began to improve. I would say probably wasn't my best until probably even like post grad of high school. I kind of dealt with that my whole high school, fearing food, kind of missing out on experiences with friends. And I don't, not that I regret it, but it's like, if I could like go back and tell myself, like, hey, dude, just eat normal. Like, you don't need to be doing this. Like, you don't need to be doing that. But I had my own experience with that. And I would binge eat like pretty severely on the days where I would have cheat days. And it would be to the point where like my stomach hurt. And I didn't get to the point of throwing up. There was a few times I almost did, because I was so nauseated. It was like so uncomfortable. But I didn't end up, because I hate throwing up. I still cry. I'm like, I'm 27 years old and I cry when I throw up. Like, if I have the stomach bug or something, or if like I'm drinking and I throw up.
Yeah,
like,
you don't like it. You don't like it.
I don't like it. I will cry.
I'm like, it's fine. It doesn't hurt that bad. It's fine. It's fine.
And I'm like, I'm
like
cry.
so numb to it from the back. I'm like, it's fine.
Dude. And so I never made it to that point, but I would experience some intense binge eating. So that took me a while to like really work through. And so I feel like that definitely, even though it was a horrible experience to go through, it's like, I'm a better coach. I'm a better dietitian because of it. And I'm grateful for the experience in a way, because now I can really relate to like my clients and understand like what they're going through, which I feel like you can too. And that's like a real, not that I want to say like everybody go have an eating disorder so you can relate to your clients that have eating disorders, because don't do it.
Don't do that. Do not suggest it.
No, but it's
not fun.
It's like a positive reframe if we have to have one about that experience. And so I feel like when you get into that type of work, it just means so much more. And the impact can be even greater, which is really freaking cool. So I appreciate you sharing that, Kate, so much.
Of course. So I want to bring it back.
Yeah.
So you know how you asked me what my favorite movement is. What's your favorite movement?
So, okay.
We'll lighten up the mood a little bit. We'll lighten it up.
Yeah. I feel like for me, it's definitely in a weird place, because I still love training like so much. Like, I'll always love training, but I'm starting to love cardio more than training, which I never thought would happen. So I'm so big into the Peloton. Like, people that follow me on Insta, like, you probably see me posting it. Like, that is my favorite form of exercise right now. I want to do spin every day for like an hour if I can. Like, I don't, but
spin class.
We should go to an actual
Let's
spin
do it.
class.
I've never done it, but I'm so down.
Dude, the endorphins. This is what, like, so when I was studying for my RD exam, like towards the very end, I was so anxious. And Peloton like saved me. Like, I was like, oh, this is like the only thing that turns my brain off for a little bit, and I feel better after it. Yeah. And so I am just loving Peloton. I'm even thinking about starting up running outside again, which I used to run in high school. Like, I used to run like 6-7 miles, like a day, like multiple days a week. And I loved it. And I'm like, I think I'm kind of falling back in love with that cardio piece. And now that I really don't have physique goals, which is so weird to say because I've been so physique focused for a long time. I don't really care what I look like anymore. And so if I lose some muscle and like, I don't really care. I want to just move my body in the way that feels good and that I enjoy. So I'm kind of in this like experimental phase with exercise, which is cool and really refreshing. So I have to say like cardio, like Peloton right now, but once I start running outside again, it wouldn't surprise me if that becomes my new favorite. So yeah.
I'm not a runner. I've tried it so many times.
So many times. It's like a hit or miss.
I applaud you for loving it. I absolutely love that you love it.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Vicariously through you.
I think I actually went on a run in Ossipee like a couple of years ago, like one morning that I wasn't hungover.
Dude, that trip is crazy.
You guys are going to love the content from the Ossipee trip.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
It's going to be a fun time. And it's not going to really be fitness related, by the way.
It's literally going to be us just hanging out.
Yeah. And like, honestly, like, I want to say this too, like, this was another big reason, like, I wanted to do this podcast because like, as I've kind of announced, like, I'm no longer bodybuilding, like, I'm not really physique focused goals anymore. Like, I'm just kind of here to like promote healthy lifestyle living, which is like a really good place to be at this point in my career. And I'm happy that I can really truly say I'm in alignment with that. And like a big part of why I wanted Kate to be like the co-host of this podcast is because she's arguably my funnest friend and like the person that I hang out with the most, that like we always have a good time. Like we always have a good time together. And it doesn't even have to always like involve alcohol or like going out to the bars till 3 a.m. Like we just always have a good time. Like we're so fun when we're together.
Like, even when we went out to dinner like the other day, it was just so great. I was just like, I'm so happy to be here. The boys are just hanging out watching the fight. Yeah. We're going out. Sorry, bye.
Exactly. And I'm like, I want to bring more of like life stuff into the space. Like I feel like for me, a lot of my content has been so educational, which is cool. And I love that. And like, that'll still be like core values of like what I do, but I'm like so much more than just like an information machine. And I feel like Kate is like one of the best people I could bring into this space to like help me showcase that and just show that like we're real people. And like, obviously, as I've said, like Kate's super intelligent. Like her favorite class was like organic chemistry. Like she got like a, like, I don't know, B+ in it, which is really fucking hard if you're an orgo. Let me make that clear. Yeah. Super smart girl, but like we have more to like offer aside from that. And we have like other things that we want to bring to this podcast and our content. So it'll be super fun to explore that together.
Yeah.
I love it. Yay. So I feel like we kind of touched base on like how we know each other. So like, again, she dates John's brother, Ty. They've been dating for a long time. And I think a big thing for us to kind of get across, like we've talked a little bit about like what the goals of the podcast are a little bit, but we also want to like open up the space for like any people that have anything they want us to cover, like specific topics. We're definitely going to dive into all things like digestive health, hormonal health for women specifically. Of course, all things nutrition, which, you know, kind of goes without saying with 2 nutrition girls in the room. We'll also talk about all things mental health as well. So like we've kind of opened up about our own mental health struggles, even just on this podcast. And we'll continue to be vulnerable in that way, but we'll be talking about mental health and how nutrition and gut health can play a massive role in that. Also like things like self-care and just generally like ditching that diet culture mindset and kind of bringing a different lens of nutrition education to this podcast. Even like when I did like the barbells, bikini, no BS, like I was kind of stepping into this, but there was still like some of that, I would say, diet culture.
There was still dynamics of, there's still dynamics of
bodybuilding.
Of that mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, like bodybuilding. And like, I'm so grateful for bodybuilding and everything that I, you know, gained from it. Like, I'm not bad mouthing it, but it's just like, there is so much more to living a healthy lifestyle than tracking your macros, doing fasted cardio every day, going through various contest preps and missing out on your life experiences, and making the gym your whole entire being. And like, as like I'm talking to you guys, like I am changing the way that I view exercise. I'm only training like 3 days a week right now, focusing more on cardio because it makes me feel good. You see Kate, like she's doing her Rumble classes. She's doing, you know, the kickboxing side of things. We might even do, you know, a little spin class together. I think we're going to explore some Pilates classes together. So like, we want to experiment with movement and see what makes us feel good. And we want to promote that for people to like find what makes you happy, find what is sustainable and something that you can see yourself doing like 6 to 12 months, years down the line. And I think there's plenty of content out there about how to lose body fat, how to gain muscle, and that's great. But you're not really going to find too much of that on this podcast because we're in a different chapter of life now. So
exactly, we're moving through our phases. Like it's a phase. It's not. I mean, Mom, it's not a phase. It's a lifestyle.
Right.
But
it's a lifestyle.
Like for real, it's like you go through that phase, and once you realized you're done with it, it's hard to move on. It's very hard to move on because you always have that mindset. You'll always have that mindset, no matter what. You're gonna have that since you experienced it. So once you move through that and you get to the next phase, and you find like, oh, this is what I need to be doing. Like this is what's giving me like hope, and what's providing happiness for me right now. Not that bodybuilding didn't for you.
Right.
It's just now you're in a different part of your life where this is now the main source of happiness, and this is what's endorphins are getting up and all these things.
Yeah, I feel like too, and I don't know if you relate to this, like I feel like I'm going through like I don't want to say like a quarter life crisis, because it's not a crisis. It's just like a transformation. Like I feel like I'm grieving like old parts of my identity that like were so great and I don't regret them at all. But I'm also like figuring out right now, like who I am without those things, like without the identity of a student, without the identity of a bodybuilder, and like that being my whole life. And it's like who am I? Like aside from that, which sounds like such like a trippy question, like who am I? But like it's true. It's like, oh, like there's just so much more to like care about than just those things. And so it's cool. And I don't know if you relate to that, because you just kind of graduated college not too long ago. And so I feel like that's a big pivotal time, and like you're going through a big career change right now. So like that's also huge. Like how do you feel about being 24? What's coming up for you with that?
24 is a pretty cool age. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of like I also feel that way. Like I'm almost like about to be in that position. Like my thoughts are like, oh, what am I doing? Like, I gotta figure this out. Where is my life going? It is time. Yeah. And it's just like that weight on your shoulders is so heavy.
It is.
And just like you're walking up this hill of life, and you got all of that weight on you. And once you figure it out, it's like it just falls off, and you're running up that hill now.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for that part. And I know it's going to come, and I know it's there. It's not like I'm stopping. And I just gotta stick it out. And so does everyone else. You gotta stick it out.
Yeah. And I think
into it.
Yeah, dude, I feel like that's so true. It's like you're kind of figuring shit out right now. Like 24 is a fun age to be. It is fun. And then like I swear to God,
opportunities to do things. And it's like I'm still wanting to do all these things, but now I'm also like, okay, maybe it's like I'm having my time now. I'm enjoying it, but it's almost like those phases, what I was talking about. Like this is part of that phase. I'm having fun. I'm doing that. When I was freshly 21, I was doing it every weekend. I don't know if I can even do that now. That's a lot.
God, I'm still recovering from our night out a couple weeks ago. I swear to God.
Dude, I was going to the club every weekend. I'm like, okay, I think I need to slow down. I think I need to like take a chill pill here. So yeah, I was doing that. Like life's moving fast, you know?
Dude, it does. It moves faster and faster. It really does. I feel like too, like once you hit 25, I swear your frontal lobe just develops and you feel different.
Frontal lobe develops, you're a whole new person.
I am not kidding. Like I felt that so freaking hard when I was 25. I was like, I feel like I'm thinking differently. And like, I would love to see like listener people, like, do you relate to that? Because I felt like it was like just this random, like fucking Tuesday afternoon. And all of a sudden my brain was just like working different. And like, I don't know.
You literally just wake up and you're like, okay, this is it. Frontal lobe developed. We're good.
Developed. It's so weird. In like the best way. It's all good things, but like it's just crazy. Like, yeah, we're just all figuring shit out. And I just am so happy that you're kind of stepping into what I would call your power now with the things that you have to offer the world, because your impact is going to be so huge. And it already is, but it's going to be so huge. And I'm so excited
to have it be more available to like everyone else, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, come from a small town, like it's hard to start.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's hard to start things like that. And people here, I would say half closed-minded. Like they're not really open to those kinds of ideas. Not that they're like that, but
right. No.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say you're so right because Kate and I, we live in different towns, like our hometowns, but they're right next to each other. So they're very like same vibes, you know? And like people that we grew up with, like they're amazing people. Like this is no hate on those people, but like the stuff that like we're trying to do in our careers, in our life is just like maybe even like mocked at times. Like probably people make fun of me. I'm sure people make fun of me. I'm sure people make fun of me.
I'm sure people are making fun of me right now because I'm starting up this Instagram and it's like,
right. I know.
Here.
That was my thing. I remember feeling so fucking scared to like start posting my stuff and like, imagine if I didn't, I wouldn't be paying my bills with something that I love. I wouldn't have that like financial stability and freedom. Like I would be unhappy. Like I would have thought I had to go to a typical like dietetics job after this. Like, and to see you kind of going that same route and kind of like pushing against that and like kind of taking that chance is like really cool. And I'm really excited for you.
You know.
I love it. So we have a couple of like fun little like rapid fire questions that we wanted to like just go back and forth so you can kind of continue to get to know Kate and get to know me too. Maybe a little bit outside the fitness space, some fitness things. So like I'm going to rapid fire you, Kate, and then I'll say, we can say mine too. Okay. Coffee versus tea. What's your favorite?
All right. I always want coffee. I always reach for tea. Tea makes me feel way better.
It makes you feel better. Because you have anxiety, like you get the anxiety. So I can imagine with the coffee. Yeah. So like when we're always on vacation, Kate's like big napper. Like she takes a nap like every day.
Yeah.
She never misses a nap. We'll be on vacay in the middle of the day. She's like, I need to go take my nap. And I'm like, can you hang out?
Still at Grammys.
Yeah, no. And I'm like, can you please hang out? Like, can we day drink? And you're like, no, I'm going to take a nap. All right. See you later. Bye. I love it. And obviously, like I'm coffee. I have a quad shot of espresso in here because I took melatonin last night. And I swear I'm in a melatonin haze. I was like, I'm going to be so slow for this podcast. So yeah, I worked way too late last night. Okay. Pizza or pasta?
Pasta.
See, that's like a really hard one because I love both so much, but I'm going to say pizza.
If it's a really, really good slice, if it's super, super good, like Italian, never Greek pizza. I hate Greek
You don't like Greek pizza?
No, I only like Italian pizza.
I love Greek pizza. Oh, that's so good. I love it. I already know the answer, but tequila or vodka? Tequila. Casamigos. Okay.
Casamigos all the way.
Absolutely. Okay. Organic chem or biochem?
You already know this one.
I already know, but you have to tell them.
Orgo, Avi.
I'm biochem for sure. I made it through Orgo, but we had the same professor. I was a couple years earlier than Kate in terms of graduating. I'm older. But we both had Preventure, shout out Preventure. And he basically passed me because I had a good attitude. I'm telling you, like it was brutal. Like I think I got like a C+. I think I just got the bare minimum to like get through it. So but
I think I got a B+. It's not even like I was getting really good grades on these tests, but my final was like an 87. And I think he just like took that and said, that's your grade now. That's just
Yeah, I think he felt bad. I think he's like, you guys are really going to need this, really.
We tried so hard, and I tried so hard, and he saw that I loved learning about it. It just was really connecting, and I was like, it needs to connect. I need you to connect in my head.
I love it. No, I feel that. I'm biochem. For some reason, it just clicked better for me. Like I was like, oh, this makes sense. Like I get it better, but it's still freaking hard. Let me make that clear. Wasn't easy, still hard. I had to retake nutrient and metabolism. So
really?
Oh, did you have to retake any classes in college?
Yeah. Funny enough, I had to take intro to public health because I hated the professor.
She's like, I hated it, so I couldn't pay attention.
I have such a superiority complex. So if someone doesn't respect me, like immediately off the bat, I'm not respecting you. I'm not going to do anything you tell me to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just
I totally get that.
Oh yeah. So I didn't I had to retake
love
one.
it.
And then the second one, I got the A because I liked her.
Yeah. Well, okay, funny story. So with nutrient and metabolism, I had a different professor. I'm not going to say their name, but their teaching style just did not resonate with me. I was like, I have no idea. And so I got like a C plus, and like you needed a B minus to get to the next class. So like I just barely didn't pass that class. So I had to retake it. And then I got an A the next time I took it. And I'm telling you, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me at the time. I was having a mental breakdown because I was like, this is going to put me farther back in my education and getting my RD. And if I can add anything for those that are pursuing the RD or any sort of school in general, like even if you're not going for your RD, you're going to get there when you get there, and don't stress it. Like, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Like, you're going to get there when you get there. Everybody's journey is so different. And I wouldn't change mine for the world. It took me 8 years to get done, but like, I wouldn't change it. But yeah, I had to take nutrient metabolism, and I had to take chem twice. Yeah, chem. Not my thing.
I took chem during COVID. So I went.
Oh, that's kind of brutal.
Yeah, the hardest class I've ever taken in my life, like in person. She was like very detailed, very like detail oriented. Wrote down all of the notes. I was writing down everything. Sat front of the class, and then COVID happened. She was like, "Okay, all classes are asynchronous. You're gonna do this yourself." And I said, dude. So I'm learning chemistry in college by myself, and I'm also going to do labs via a video you're showing me.
I can't believe you guys did labs on video. I mean, I guess you had to, but like, I'm like, wow, that's a crazy dynamic. That is so crazy.
It was so insane.
That is so crazy. Okay. Nails or hair? Do you like getting your nails done better or your hair done?
Oh, I feel so much better when I get my hair done because it's such a once in a while thing.
Yeah, I feel that. So when I moved to Boston, which was like 2019, I stopped getting my nails done because that's when life just got really crazy. So these are my nails. Kate has cute nails, and I want to like get my nails done.
I wouldn't say they're very cute right now. But
well, okay, they're like a little ratchet, but that's okay.
They're a little bit ratchet. They're all different sizes, but like these like this is what my nails usually look. These are my real nails too. They're not.
Those are your real nails? Yeah. Really? They look like acrylic.
Yeah, I know. My nails grow so fast because I get dipped.
I love it. Oh my God. I love getting dipped, the gel dip. It was really good. I used to get, I was good. I was like every 2 weeks. We should get a mani-pedi soon. Like maybe next week when you come. So like next week if you come on Friday, let's go to in the place that I live, we can go get our nails done. There's a place. So we can go.
I love that.
Let's do it after the podcast. Or maybe, let's do it after. Do that podcast as a reward. Yay. Okay. So in like 2 weeks, you'll see our nails done. Live, laugh, love that. Cool. What else? What else do we have here? I feel like that's good.
What's your favorite self-care?
Oh, at home spa night all the way. I haven't done it in a while though. Like full shower, hair mask, self tanner, dermaplane your face. I don't use a face mask. I just will do like the like the Cicaplast. Do you know that? You know what that is?
I've heard of that. Yeah.
So like I've been using that a couple of nights out of the week, and like that's like a slugging, like an occlusive. So I'll use that, and then sometimes I'll do my own nails, but I haven't done them in a really long time. But that's like my favorite thing is an at-home spa night. Red light mask, the whole thing. Yeah. What about you?
I'm just gonna say like. What you just listed is my night routine. Like that is what I do every night because that's what brings my anxiety levels from the day just down. So that's how I take care of myself because I'm like, this is the only thing that brings me joy right now.
No, I definitely relate. Like even if I can't do like full spa night every night, like even just like taking a nighttime shower and like evening skincare routine is like so calming. It's so nice. I totally agree.
Yeah. So like I'll take a shower. That's just hottest setting. Have to have it on the hottest setting. And then
I don't burn my skin off.
Literally burn me. I want to feel like I'm in the depths of hell. Do my skincare. I have this like what is it called? New Face, I think. You know the thing?
Oh yeah. The thing.
I got it. Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
What does it do? Is that like the electric current?
Yeah. So it's like it basically just you do it like this and it like it sends electric currents and you put like the stuff on so it doesn't like really shock your skin.
Right.
And so cool because it's like you do it one time and it's like it looks like that. It's so cool.
That's so funny. I have to look into it.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll blow dry my hair, put a bonnet in because I like to save my hair.
Yes.
And then I put on my favorite show, and then I'll watch some TikToks.
I love it. Oh, dude, I need to, like, this week I worked so late every night, like literally till like 9:30. And so like I go to bed at like 10:30. I haven't been able to like doom scroll at all. And I know that's probably not healthy to be promoting, but I don't care. I do it. I doom scroll for like at least 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
And I need to like unwind. I know that's like not the healthiest. That's not what I would recommend my clients do. So don't listen to that. But sometimes I'm just human. So sorry.
If you get like in a wormhole, it's just about like, you know what I do? It's about tornadoes all the time.
Wait, what?
It's so
on
weird.
TikTok, you're on Tornado Talk?
I'm so on Tornado Talk.
Wait. Do you ever get on Deep Sea Talk where it's like, oh
yeah.
That one. That's just so crazy. That shit is crazy.
Of that. Why did you?
Was that so good?
So fantastic.
Because I have way too many of those on my TikTok for you page. Oh my god! And I like show John.
Do you ever get the ones that are like Henry VIII and the Six Wives? Do you ever get any of those?
No, wait.
You don't. No, not
wives.
Not sister wives, but like King Henry VIII from like 1500s in England. You don't get.
No, I don't get those. I don't think anybody listening to this gets those either.
Oh, but those pop up so much on my TikTok, and
that's a niche for you and you only.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Wait, Kate,
I love it.
Can you tell them? Can you tell them that you know all the presidents of the United States off the top of your head?
Yes, I do. I do know. George, what? Do you want me to name him right now?
Name like 10.
Okay, George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson. No, it's not James Monroe. It's who the fuck is the fourth?
Who's the fourth?
I don't know. It's something.
I don't know any of them.
And then it's James Monroe, and then it's John Quincy Adams, which is John Adams' son.
Okay.
Seventh is
good to know. I didn't know that.
Seventh is Andrew Jackson. Eighth is Martin Van Buren. Ninth is something. 10th is John Tyler.
I've never even heard of these people. I did not know they were the pres of the United States at any point. So everybody now has
4 or 9, but you know.
I love it.
We'll get there.
God. We'll get there. We're gonna work on it. We'll keep refining that skill for you guys. We'll make sure she can give 20 the next time.
Oh yeah, I'll be ready. Don't you worry.
Born ready. I love it. All right, let's wrap this one up with our most hated fad diet.
Keto for me. Always.
I know. We talked about this, and I also hate keto equally as much. But I recently learned that, and if I can classify this as a fad diet, which I think I maybe could now, Ozempic usage, because there are now influencers promoting Ozempic. They're getting paid to promote Ozempic. Like, hey, use my coupon code for Ozempic.
That's disgusting.
Can we just like talk about the fact that is so fucked up? Like, we should not be promoting that. Like, that is just
not be using it if we don't have diabetes. Why are people just using it?
Any other country will not allow you to even have commercials of medication brands. America's the only country that allows that. Do you know that? I learned that at school, and I was like, that's insane. And it just goes to show you how sketchy our pharmacy healthcare industry can be in some ways, like where it's like, it does come back to money. Like at the end of the day, like why else would you be paying influencers to promote Ozempic? At the end of the day, it's like they want the money. And so it's just so fucked up. And like, we'll do a whole episode on Ozempic and like the mechanisms of action of GLP-1s and like the pros, the cons. And like, I speak very outwardly about how much I hate it from a weight loss standpoint. There is a time and a place for it as a diabetes medication for people that like can't get it controlled any other way, which there are people out there that need it. But I'm talking about like the girl that, you know, is like, I want to lose 15 pounds for summer, and she's going on Ozempic. And it's like, it's just the dangers that we're finding out now, but like, just so much more to come because it's so new in this area that people that are technically within, and I hate using this term, but like within normal BMI or within normal body weight that are getting these prescriptions, it's like the health consequences are going to be even worse because they're really putting their body into a place where they don't need to go. And even if you are living in a larger body, you shouldn't really be on Ozempic unless you absolutely needed it. So like, there's a lot to come on that. We'll do like a whole thing on that, but yeah, so fucked up.
I think a bird just flew, like hit my window. I keep looking up. I'm pretty sure a bird just flew like in.
Oh no, you must have like clean windows because he thought it was still the outside.
I don't know. These are basement windows. I don't think they're too clean.
These are basement windows. And it's like really quiet. I'm like, where did my dog go?
What is Mr. Clapper doing right now?
It's like really quiet. It's like dangerously quiet. I assume he's sleeping or he's outside. We'll find him. I hope he's okay. Hopefully. Okay, guys. Well, that was our first episode. Thank you for hanging out with us for some time and getting to know Kate and chit-chatting it up with me. And I hope that you learned something new today. And we're super excited to dive into more educational based episodes, and we're going to have some interviews and have guests on here. So we're really excited about it.
And we're going to have fun episodes too.
Yeah, we're going to have fun episodes. Our Zach Bryan episode is going to be fun. Like we're going to Zach Bryan. We have 6 seats and we're going to podcast about that. And then she's also coming to the meetup. So the Together More retreat that's happening at the end of May. If anybody here is going, like, please let me know. I would love to see you guys. That's going to be at the end of May, weekend of the 23rd through the 26th. So right before it's Memorial Day weekend. So we are going to be in Austin, Texas at the Together More retreat, and we would love to see you guys and hang out. It's going to be a fun weekend. Yeah. Alrighty. See you guys in the next one.
Bye.